Hello and welcome to Stone Upon Stone. This is episode 12. Last time I talked about what makes a good choice. This time I'd like to talk about a choice more and more people are making, a bad choice. It's been on the minds of many people, and I guess I can't avoid making a video about it too. I hate being cliche, but it fits into what I've been talking about. And I have my own reasons for saying it's a bad choice, so I'm going to make this video even knowing that my position is hardly novel. Artificial intelligence, or to be more specific and accurate, large language model software, has grown in prominence and widespread use. There are many reasons that this growing use of AI or large language is a bad choice, but I will limit myself to about 9 of them. The results you get are inferior to the response you'd get from a research librarian or a professor with the same information background, but you do it more expensively. Inferior response, higher expense. I like to call this AI doesn't understand Wes Anderson. I saw a video recently about this, and while a computer that is programmed with this kind of software can list some of the traits commonly found in a Wes Anderson film, it can't really synthesize what makes a Wes Anderson film, what makes a Wes Anderson film great. So if you prompt for Wes Anderson directs X-Men, as they did in this video, you'll get a result that is flat and is not at all what makes a Wes Anderson film interesting. Use of large language models skews our perception. Because of both the data that's used to train the models and algorithmic and result tweaking, it can lead to skewed perceptions. One of these is the echo chamber, a reinforcement of the biases that you put into it by cherry-picking the results to match the prompt. Another is siloism. This is a reinforcement of biases by the selection of which model to use, and by the source selection, and by a source selection that is too similar to the perspective of the terms in the prompt. Similar to the echo chamber, but a little bit different. Siloism, additionally, is about grouping people into smaller and smaller niches so that things are closer and closer to what they already have. It separates people. An echo chamber brings back what you put into it, but a silo groups you and separates you from people who are different. Another skewed perception is political steering. Beyond natural skewing, model provider has the power to skew results to match their biases, not just the biases you bring in your prompt. Another danger of large language models is AI hallucinations. AI can hallucinate through a number of things, including tone deafness, where the model may provide a result that is accurate enough but in poor taste at best, or take satire as serious at worst. Consider what would happen if a large language model included training data from A Modest Proposal. Mistranslation. A homonym may lead a model to provide inaccuracy, or recursive xerography. A model may gobble up the results of another model, leading to perpetuation of errors, exaggeration of errors, and also gobbling up the human errors of the precedent works. Large language models are good at summarizing, of categorizing, not so much at discerning. Really not good at discerning at all. Another danger of large language models is specification gaming. Specification gaming can lead to problems such as a local maximum, where you reach a hilltop and claim that it's the top of the world, when there is a higher hill just a mile away that you would have to go through some lower terrain to reach. Search for local maximum if you'd like some more information about this kind of thing. Another danger of specification gaming comes in this form of corrupted wish, where the results that you get match what you wanted, but not in the way that you wanted them to match. Specification gaming comes sometimes from laziness in how the models are trained, which leads to worse outcomes than you can get in a more rigorously trained model or in the results you would get from a human. Specification gaming can also come from unconsidered possibilities allowed by the specification. Things where you asked for a specific thing, but you left out one detail that allowed something completely wrong to be given as a result. And another is missing cultural criteria. And this gets to the heart of why we get such poor results from large language models. People are very quick to tout how smart computers have become, but they haven't really. This isn't AI, not really. It's not the science fiction idea of intelligent machines that have agency. It's simply a program that is made in such a way that the innards, and thus the outputs, are not well understood or predictable. A poorly trained algorithm can yield deadly results. Like the machine compiled, I do not say written, for it did not write the book, but compiled the material in a new way from its training sources, a book about foraging that urged readers to taste unfamiliar mushrooms to see if they are toxic. Don't try this. It'll get you dead like as not. This trend also discourages creative attempts because the use of these tools precludes the necessity for innovation on the surface. So there's no more incentive to do more with less. There's little incentive to use practical effects in favor of CGI. But it was those practical effects that led to some creative solutions. It was doing more with less that led to creative solutions that gave us some of our greatest pieces of film and some of our most interesting stories. Large language models cheapen the effort of those who don't use them. You consider the same kind of thing happening with handcrafted items. Why pay for a bespoke shirt when you can get one that was mass-produced? The quality is lower, but the market for it is wider. But if you compare a mass-produced item to one that was handmade, handcrafted, you will actually see that there's a huge difference that means there's a huge difference that brings great benefits from making the investment in the handcrafted item. Large language models encourage laziness, which discourages growth and resilience. Some years ago, Ann Landers wrote, "What the majority of American children needs is to stop being pampered, stop being indulged, stop being chauffeured, stop being catered to. In the final analysis, it is not what you do for your children, but what you taught them to do for themselves that will make them successful human beings." The same is true in professional life. What tools allow you to do without learning will not make you successful. The only thing that will make you successful is what you learn to do well. Large language models exploit creative people. These things are trained, I haven't heard of one that isn't, using creative works whose authors and publishing houses were not compensated for their use. Not even compensated once the way libraries compensate. These things are not like libraries. They're like thieves. They're like pirates. And this exploitation of creative people further discourages creative attempts as well. Oh, but we're just having progress. You just need to get with the program. You need to get with the program and move forward. You got to learn how to live in a world where this thing is true. Perhaps, but I don't think it's a good idea. On top of the other problems with large language models, they also waste energy. These large language models use an enormous amount of energy. So if you care about carbon footprint, you probably don't want to be using AI. Even if you're not in that camp, AI is just bad stewardship. It gives you poor results, and you have bad social trade-offs. So that's my little rant on large language models. Next time, we're going to talk about terms and conditions apply. Are you enjoying these videos? Would you like to see more works I produce? I am receiving support from my Patreon campaign, and you can join in the fun and help pay for more content like this. My patrons have access to all the videos in this series, to early access to some content, and to behind-the-scenes posts relating to my serial novel projects. Right now is a great time to visit my page and pledge your support for my art and social commentary. All of my work is produced without artificial creativity. I write my own stories and scripts and make all reasonable efforts to avoid AI tools. For as little as $12 a year, you can support the creation of more high-quality stories and videos. Special thanks goes out to Chris Howard for supporting my works.